Hey, this is Soraya. Welcome to Soraya's Fears Reflections and Soraya's Fears Cooking Show. I'm the queen of healthy Latin cooking, and maybe now I'm the queen of healthy Latin living, because I can only live my life, and that's the only life I have control over or any say-so about. I have no say-so on other lives, other people, pretty much. Can wish them well, or maybe not wish them well. Being a human in the human experience, there's a range of emotions that I have, and some of them are wishing people well. It's really the feeling I'd like to have most of the time in my life, for real, for sure, right? It's not an easy thought to maintain, but a feel-goodism thought, like, I wish my sister well, I wish my friend well, I wish my community well, I wish myself well. And then every once in a while, another thought comes, which is, I can't stand that, la 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 la, you know. And so there's the yin and yang of feeling and wishing. I wish you well, I wish you well. And then somebody's like, I hope she blah blah blah. I don't like when I get into like the dark little I'm not wishing well kind of thing. It's not cool. And so the goal in my life as Soraya Sobada, the queen of healthy Latin cooking, someone like myself with plethora, a myriad of feelings, experiences, like every human being has a lot of feeling and experience. But in my life, being a sober woman, like, I hope you understand, and maybe you don't, but my last name of Sobriedad, the chosen last name that I have, is sobriety in Spanish. So it came to me, like the name Soraya came to me, and I like that name. The spelling is different for sobriety in Spanish than what I use it as. However, the vibe is there. It's about sober living, healthy eating, the weighing, measuring of life. Take what you want and leave the rest. And today, as I was getting ready to record this episode and being a little worried about it because I'm in my van and the windows are open and it's hot and I want to get the breeze in. And this is actually the first Soraya Reflections being made in the van, and so there's noise and I'm worried, and I'm like, well, why worry? Well, because I'm taking the time to do this. I want it to come out nice, and I wanted it to be true to form. I am living van life through COVID-19 and all the other lives that are happening all around me that I have no control over, like the president, Congress, the Republicans, the Democrats, and all of this craziness, all this life stuff, which is not crazy, but it is sort of crazy. You can see behind me my little kitchen. So life here has been very simple and pretty safe. Known in the community. There's right here to the side and across the street, there's a car dealership, and the guys always say hi. And if I'm away for a week at the hotel, taking a bath 3 times a day, I'm being like a mermaid, like a fish called Wanda. Because I love taking baths. I just love being in bathtub water and bubble bath and all of that. So cute. So when I'm not here for a week playing a fish named Wanda, when I get back, the guys are like, hey, how are you? What's going on? And there's a really cute guy on the corner who works he's very cute. He's always complimenting me. Very charming young man. And he recently disclosed he was married, and I told him that we had to stop talking. I don't go there. And that's my healthy living, is holding on to my values, what's comfortable for me, acknowledging that, looking at the history of my family and the women in my family and how they handled relationships. And now myself being a transgender woman, I ask myself, well, how do I want to handle my relationships? And I'm never number 2 for any man. If he's married, that's her spot as number 1. I'm not playing number 2. And I don't believe in interfering in any woman's relationship, anybody's relationship. I didn't do that stuff when I was identifying as a man. Like, what? So, as a female, got the wrong one. So, anyway, so blah, blah, blah. These are the things I can't control, and I can only control my life. But when I was getting set up ready, I started thinking about, when did I start hating? When did I start hating? And I went through a quick scan for the few minutes that I had in setting up the equipment for this recording today, Soraya Sphere's Reflections number 3. When did I start hating? When did I start, despising? When did I start resenting? And then when did I start resenting groups? When did I start resenting purple people or polka dotted people? Or when did that start? When did that start happening? When did I start hating my dad or hating my brother? These are the obvious people that come quickly to mind. These were actually the first people I started hating. And then I started hating groups, and I started hating behaviors, and I started hating processes. But when did I really start hating? When I lived in Brooklyn, I don't remember myself hating, there was a bully that bullied me. I don't remember hating her. I just really remember being annoyed and being afraid of her, but I didn't hate her. I think I started hating, when we moved from Brooklyn to Long Island. In my first year on Long Island, there was a 5th grade teacher that did some dumb shit. And I answered a math question wrong, and I got hit in the face. I got slapped in the face. That's when I started hating, And so that's where it started. And then soon thereafter, I really resented my parents for taking us out of Brooklyn into Long Island, where there was a lot of occurrences of racism and prejudice and things like that. And that's when the hate started, snowballing beyond my father and my brother. It was actually probably that occurrence with the teacher where I started hating. Started hating. That's coming to me now, but when I was thinking about maybe talking about this in this recording, I quickly remembered my diva, Natalie Wood, and West Side Story. I love that movie, right? Natalie Wood, Maria, didn't hate anybody. When the Jets and the Sharks, when she started getting a whiff of that, and then she started seeing what was going on, and she started seeing with Tony, and she just wanted the best for her and Tony. But then with the gang war stuff started really interfering, and then now her brother died and Tony did it, and the other one, it was just a mess, right? And then at the end when Tony gets shot, she's like now I hate, now I can hate. And it's so here was this beautiful little young woman who was goes to the dance, has, some white boys rolling up on her. She's a little Puerto Rican girl. Don't you date that? He's Italian, he's one of those, or whatever. No. And she's like, what do you mean? And I remember too, what do you mean? When I was, what do you mean blacks or this or whites or this or what's I remember in 9th grade when I was being called faggot. I was like, I didn't know what a faggot was. So I went to the library across the street from the school because it was safer to go there. And I looked up the word faggot. Faggot meant a pile of twigs. I was like, I don't get it. I'm a pile of twigs. What is that? You have this innocence about you, and then life throws you these ingredients, and then you make up your own, thing, your own adobo, let's say, right? They throw one thing at you, that's cumin. They throw another thing at you, that's oregano. Well, that's not a good analogy because I love adobo and I love spices, I love cooking. But you get thrown all these different things. And then you start developing a recipe of thought. It could be a good recipe, a recipe that works and gives you what you want, or it could be a recipe for disaster, and it continues to snowball, and you start adding more ingredients to that adobo, that spice that then dictates everything, all the flavor that you'll experience in your life. And then I started picking up more negative spices and ingredients than positive. You understand? Little by little. I remember in Brooklyn. No? Yeah. I excelled in my first 3 years, first, second, and third grade. Third grade, I was translating for the little Puerto Rican kids that were coming from Puerto Rico to New York, to my neighborhood. I was translating like crazy. Teachers were like, "Oh, your son is so bright, your son is so bright." I was drawing, singing, choir, drawing, singing, choir. I remember in the choir, I was one of the mice in Cinderella, singing mice, and someone in the audience yelled out, "That's a fat mouse," because I was like obese, really, really, already obese as a child. Third grade, I was already there, So, then you take that occurrence, and that's a new ingredient. But it was kind of light. It was not, all right, I know I'm fat. All right, I was humiliated, but the fifth grade thing with the teacher, and then the faggot. I don't know what a faggot is. It's funny now, and then you start hating the people who call you that, and maybe there's more purple people with white spots that call you that than pink people with yellow stripes, and then you start hating the group as a whole, and then the purple people with yellow stripes start calling you something derogatory and hurtful. So now you hate both groups because one calls you one thing and one calls you another, and then you have a teacher that seems to have it out for you all the time and gives you a hard time, and then you start hating anyone who looks like her, sounds like her, acts like her. As a kid, you kind of, everything goes in the mind like silly putty, Remember that? And you build this recipe ingredient list, and you're running with this list everywhere you go, and it's not fruitful, and it's not beneficial. And I appreciate COVID-19 and what it's doing for me, and my decision to van life. It really had me really quiet, the frequency, like there was not this thing going on. It was like a really low level energy, and I wasn't talking much, I wasn't interacting much with a lot of people. And then now that I'm interacting more and talking more, I'm realizing more what I say and what my feelings are. And then I say to I can sobriety and abstinence with my food, number one, and watching my expenses, continuing not to smoke cigarettes. I don't have a desire. I don't have a desire to drink. I'll always have a desire to eat like something crazy. It's not strong. It's not like I'm white knuckling my abstinence with food or anything. I know how I like to live. So I could really identify my thoughts and my hates, my prejudices. I discriminate against others. Of course I do. I judge others. I have them. I'll admit them. I don't want those prejudices and feelings, that ingredient list either, for the recipe of judgment and discrimination to rule my life. So van life and COVID-19, when I'm on a line waiting and to pay for something and something happens, I could look at it and say, was I discriminating? Was I judging? Was I being judged? Of course, maybe, If waiting on the line and somebody's cutting the line, I seem to be too feisty about letting people know when they cut the line, maybe I need to relax. Is that coming from a place of lack of time? Is it coming from being a person of color that, sometimes you get pushed and bullied and, you get edged out, so somebody giving me attitude because I'm of color with this skin and this curly hair, blah, 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 and I'm trans, and my voice maybe outs me. So, And then I have to say, well, am I going to run with that recipe, with that ingredient of overprotective of self? Like, who cares? F it, like, just for me, don't get angry and don't be rude. And I try not to be unkind, And last week, I was kind of edgy and short with people, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I want my life to be more congruent. I believe in a lot of positive things, like all of you do, and being, cranky and, short with people is not what it's not what I want to be known for. It's not what I'm about. It doesn't feel good. I don't like when people do it to me, and it was done to me a lot, like the week before. I'm like, Soraya, you see, how do you like that? Do you like it when people do that to you? So, don't get so edgy when someone doesn't know that there's a line. Like, don't assume that they are doing it on purpose. It's so wild. I have my little meditation books, like I said in other podcasts. I start my morning with free flow writing, journaling, and reading. And this was today's quote, if I could see it. And I really like it a lot. It says, it is by Orrin L. Crane. And by the way, today is Flip Wilson's birthday, August 8th, and Charlize Theron. I love them both. So this is a quote. I really like it. Okay. Remind me each day that the race is not always in the swift, that there is more to life than increasing its speed. I need to remember that when I'm in a grocery store line and I want to hurry up and get out. Like, I don't need to increase the speed of life. Like, I don't have to rush. Take it easy. Let me look upward into the towering oak. And I love trees. And when I see a big tree, I try to hug it. When I see a good-looking guy, I try to hug that too. Let me look upward onto the towering, handsome oak. And know that it grew great and strong because it grew slowly and well. And that's a quote by Orrin L. Crane. I love that. I'm going to read it again without the humor. Remind me each day that the race is not always to the swift, that there is more to life than increasing its speed. Let me look upward into the towering oak poppy and know that it grew great and strong because it grew slowly and well. When I read that, I was this week I was really beating myself up a lot for not being the Puerto Rican Mary Poppins, the Puerto Rican Miss Doubtfire, all loving all the time and patient, and she's so sweet. That's Soraya Sobrita. I love her. Because this last week I was not. The week before that was a lot of grieving about some things. And then this last week, I think was the anger behind the grief. And I had to be me. And let it just be. And so, I'm going to say quickly too, I'm going to try to get this all in the next 7 minutes. Jordan Peterson I like a lot. And he says that, sometimes you have to let the monster be the monster. Pre-recovery, when I was eating, I was like what he calls the scared little rabbit who didn't confront anybody and just ate it. Ate my carrots and my ring dings and my Suzy Q's and the KFC and just stayed quiet and scared and startled all the time, right? And passive, doormat. And then when I stopped overeating, the oak tree, the acorn was growing. And it's more than 30 years of recovery and I, going through my feelings and working on my thoughts and working on my actions, and, facing my fears and starting new projects and taking risks and growing and going through deaths of my mother and father and family and pets and job losses and COVID-19 and all of that, transitioning, going to California, coming back to New York, being misgendered at the job, crying for 8 months at a job, and not overeating, drinking, and smoking. You know what I mean? That's tricky, and that's a lot of energy. But it's been over 30 years of this path for me, so I definitely have lived the rewards long enough, the benefits. I've lived the benefits long enough to want to maintain them. And I think that that's something that people don't allow themselves to experience, is the benefit of mindful, healthy living. They living that long enough, with all the sacrifices, the pain and everything, living it long enough to feel the benefits, reap the benefits, and want to keep the benefits, and want more benefits by living that lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. It's a career. It's been a career. So my career of that for over 30 years, it's been a slow and steady process where my oak tree is living through the storm of COVID-19 and the social unrest, the awarenesses of racial inequality and injustices and biases, the awareness of that in our community. The world is changing, and I'm going with the flow of it. I'm not pushing it away. I'm staying on my path. I'm letting this oak tree, me, Soraya, grow great and strong, because I'm growing slowly and well. There's a saying too in recovery, like, I wish you a slow recovery, and I love that. My recovery is slow. It's 1984. I was fortunate, and I worked it. I caught my style, my recovery style, and maintained it since then. But back to Jordan Peterson, when he talks about the monster, like, I was the little scared rabbit for the longest time, and now I get in touch with my anger. And I remember raging. It's a Tasmanian devil, baby. Prendida, like somebody set fire to my butt. I'm like out there, baby. I'm ready to roll up. I had a dog. Her name was Ebony. She was put to rest. The date was yesterday, back in 2004. Anyway, every time we left the apartment, she would see any dog. She'd want to fight them. She'd look for fights. She didn't care how big the dog was. I'm like, Ebony, that dog is going to eat you alive. Please don't go there. She's like, I don't care. I'm from Brownsville. We don't play that shit. This dog looked at me the wrong way. This dog cut me off at the line. I'm going to get that. I don't care that that's a freaking pit bull with his wife. I'm gonna mess them both up. I'm like, Ebony, no, you're like 20 pounds. Both of those dogs are 80 pounds each. I don't care. Like I told you, I'm from Brownsville. We don't play that. And I was brought up in CI. We don't play that. I'm like, Ebony, no, I don't have insurance on you. She'd fight everybody. Any little thing. She'd go looking for it. And that's how I was this week. That's how I get. That's my monster. She was, with people, she was the sweetest thing in the world. People were like, oh, I wish she was more aggressive with people, because she sniffed out all the boyfriends, all the potentials. She's like, Soraya, Tunito, I think he's okay. I think you can date him. Yeah, come on in. She would let him in. Yeah, the bedroom's over there. Ebony, if I knew you were like this, I would not have adopted you. You would get me in trouble. So, but I loved her. I really did. She was the smartest, best. Oh, she was amazing. Which goes to show, right, the yin and yang of the animal's personality. The yin and yang of me. Like, I could be pretty okay. I could be a pretty cool person. But you wouldn't have want to know me last week. Feisty, troublemaker. Like, don't even... What you looking at? I was like, Soraya, what is up with you? I feel it's starting to lift, so I'm gonna end. So I just want to wish you all well. I hope that you're the oak tree that you want to be. I hope your ingredient list to your recipe of life is more tasty, delicious things instead of yucky, disgusting. And well, they are what they are, right? But I don't want my ingredient list of life, or recipe list of life to be. I'm always carrying that somebody's gonna mess with me, and I'm gonna be judged and discriminated, and oh, poor me, the victim, or I hate her, or I hate him, and I hate purple people, and I hate yellow people, and I hate yellow people with stars and stripes on them, and I hate orange people with polka dots or paisleys on them. It's not cool. I don't want to be like that. But I gotta let me be. And if the Tasmanian devil comes out, I just let it be for a little bit and chill out and still love and accept myself and others. See the source beauty in everyone, even when they're not showing it to me, you know, and then not beat myself up when I'm not it either. If I stay on track and work it through, I'll get back to my center of positivity and grace and beauty, you know, because beauty comes from within, right? And I want to thank you so much for this episode of Soraya Sabada's Fierce Reflections. What's the episode for today? Stand tall and stand proud and live with grace and love. Okay? Bye. Mwah. The sirens come. See it? Tigers, it's Queens. It's New York City. Bye.